Well, I knew this day would come. I gave Desiree my Toyota Tacoma to drive, and then she sold her Subaru Outback, and then now she needs to go to the store, but I'm gonna work on the Toyota. So that only leaves the Ford Raptor, which Desiree's never driven.
I feel like I'm driving a school bus. I haven't even started yet.
It's not a school bus. It's a 450 Pers trophy truck, kind of. Not really. It's not really a trophy truck, but it feels cool. You're gonna like it. How's it feel to have all that power?
It's too wide.
All the power's under your toes.
Okay, well, don't hit me in my crash.
At least this one's fully insured. So proud of her. Just a truck driving girl now. Desiree's not the worst driver in the world, but she's really like, she's gonna slam the throttle and she's gonna feel that thing kick and it's gonna scare her. So the purpose of today's video is to show you guys how to install a winch on your off-road vehicle. More specifically, a Smittybilt winch on a 2016 Toyota Tacoma that's been equipped with a CBI off-road fab bumper. But these instructions should pretty much apply to anybody's off-road vehicle that has like a mounting plate of some sort, whether it's a plug-in tray or a bumper tray, something like that. Like a Jeep has their bumpers kind of prepped for those things. So if you have a location for your winch all figured out and established, then this is how you install a winch. So let me pull the Toyota over here. I'll show you guys the winch that I bought. I'll tell you why I bought it, and I'll show you how to install it. So I'm gonna drive this beast around to the front of the barn where we might have a little bit of shade, maybe even some concrete to sit on. I don't know if you've been watching the channel for a while. I used to have a nice little like 2-car detached shop from my house, and we did a ton of modifications on the vehicles in there, and that's kind of what started the channel off. Since we moved here, we have a lot more space and land and the freedom to do a lot more, but I don't really have a good shop set up. So I don't really do a whole lot here at this place, but today I decided to make something work. So here's our subject for today's video. It's my 2016 Toyota Tacoma. It has a Smittybilt 9500 XRC winch in there, but the controller module on the inside started to short out, and then the winch line was getting pretty worn, and it just kind of took a dump all at once. So I cut the winch line, and we're just going to replace the whole thing. Now, I'm not going to trash the whole thing. I found some parts from China that I can replace. So instead of just replacing the control module, which is about 250 bucks, which doesn't really make sense because the whole winch is less than $500, I can replace just the little plug. It's just the 5-prong or 6-prong plug. One of them snapped off. So that's why it's not really working too well. So I can replace that, but it's on a slow boat from China, and I decided just to put a nice new winch in here because this winch is about five years old. Funny enough, man, this is one of the first videos I tried making for my YouTube channel, and it was so badly done and the audio was so horrible, I never posted it. But installing this winch and tensioning the winch line, one of the first videos I tried making, and yeah, it's funny. This truck has brought me so far. There's an owl in here that just like hawks up dead animals everywhere. They're all over the place. All right, so bear with me while I unbox this thing. No, this is not a sponsored video. I bought this on Amazon with my own money. It was $500. It's pretty similar to the winch that I have in the truck now. It's a Smittybilt, but it's kind of the upgraded model. Instead of 9,500 pounds, it's a 10,000 pound model. Now, I can use this winch in the Tacoma, which does a lot more wheeling, or should do a lot more wheeling pretty soon here. And then I'm gonna take that winch, refurbish it, put it on a tray, and use it on the Raptor to be able to plug into the back of the truck. So this one is advertised as being totally waterproof, has a wireless controller, which I was super interested in because that's what went wrong with that last one, was the plug-in. So this shouldn't have that issue. It just has a little wireless module. Some hardware, a little strap that I'm not gonna use. Here's our control module. This guy is what went bad on my last one, and it wasn't even the whole unit, it was just this little prong deal here snapped off. And the thing I didn't like about that last one is that the prong faced up. So if you didn't have your rubber deal seated on just right, which this one already looks way better, then it would fill with water, and that's what caused those prongs to rust and snap off. Here we go, synthetic winch line with a nice guard on it, nice big guard, and a huge hook, which is unfortunate because I'm gonna have to cut this hook off. And it's kind of a cool hook, it's really big. But I have a factor 55 hook that I use for my truck, and it's way safer that way. And then here's the winch. Dude, this thing seems lighter too. Oh, that's cool. That's the remote, just right there. It's wireless. If you unplug this, you just got yourself a wireless remote. That's cool. Little button to click on, wired, not wired. It's charged. Wondering if you, oh yeah, you put a battery in right there. That's so nice. I'm wondering if I should do a review video of this $500 winch, if that would be better, or if an installation video, I don't know. So if you're like me, you have the T3 bumper from CBI Off-Road Fab. It's really easy to uninstall. I've probably uninstalled and reinstalled this thing 40 times. And I apologize in advance for the chickens. They're so noisy. There's this one that's just frickin', oh God, so annoying. We're gonna start off by taking off these bolts here. You got your shock mounts. Looks like we're missing one bolt already. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now that I've taken those 6 bolts off, I'm gonna put this tire down so I can set the bumper down on the tire, not scratch the paint. You can put anything down, cardboard or whatever. And this bumper is aluminum, so it's only 47 pounds, plus whatever the winch weighs, which is maybe another 60 pounds, I'm not sure. So 100 pounds or so, not too bad. But if you have a steel bumper, well, you might need a partner or somebody to help you out. But you're just gonna lift and wiggle and pull her away. Oh shoot, I forgot to disconnect the lights. That part's pretty important. I'm gonna show you how to do this all wrong. Don't be like me. Make sure you disconnect your lights first. Here's the old winch. I mean, it's honestly still in pretty good condition, but you can see this is what I was talking about. They put this little controller on top. And so this thing filled up with water, probably salt water, and it corroded the pins. So one of the pins broke off, making it really, really hard to, I mean, I had like a small nail or something that I used to sort of make it work, but it broke off while we were doing a photo shoot for BF Goodrich and Big Bear, and we got it to work so we could do some winching scenes. But then this piece snapped off, this little mount here, and then the winch cable was just sort of getting frayed and nasty, so I just decided it was time to retire this one, make it a more temporary winch, because it still works fine, it just needs a little love. And I was eager to get a winch back in the Tacoma because it's so helpful, it's so useful. You got your power cable just goes directly to your battery. Don't put these on a fuse block. They draw so much power. They need to go right on your battery. So I disconnected the positive, and the negative was hooked right onto that negative terminal on the side of the body there. We'll just go ahead and pull these guys out. Now that the bumper is totally clear of the truck, I'm going to back the truck up so I can disconnect that winch and just have a little bit of room to work. Charlie, show us your bad eye. Come on, give me that look-see, big girl. What do I got? What do I got? What do I got? What do I got? Ow, fucker! How you gonna live yourself after a damn gun everywhere? Man, but So, there's some bolts under there. A little awkward to get to, that's for sure. For 5/8. But there's just no room to work inside this little hole. Dude, it's so... My hands are way too big for this. You gotta have the hands of like a tiny circus performer, like maybe like a miniature trapezist, like super strength but tiny. Rising up to the air. Oh my gosh, it's so tight in this little spot. There's only enough room. All that frustration in trying to cut corners, I'm gonna have to take this front plate off, and it's even possible that you might even be able to install your winch through that plate without taking the whole bumper off. It kind of looks like that might be the case. What's up, dude? Did you get some ice cream? Still, nothing in here is really easy to work on. Okay, no, you still have to take your bumper off. This just allows you to access those bolts a little bit easier. Take these bolts out. And my winch out with the old... You see, they're pretty similar size. This one's definitely lighter. The new one is definitely lighter. I'm just gonna go ahead and wire this thing up while it's on the tailgate. Should make it a little easier. And it's pretty straightforward. You just match your letters. Because the bumper that I have is pretty low profile and pretty tight, there's like a light bar that goes right here. This control box can't just plug into this easy, and this is how it's meant to mount, and that'd be really easy, but I need to mount mine over here like this, and so they include some brackets because they anticipate this happening, but that means I'm gonna have to go in here, take these screws off and put the new brackets on. So it's just a little bit more work, but it's not bad at all. So to mount the winch, here's your hardware. This is how you want it configured. You want your lock washer, then your flat washer, and these square nuts. Now, we're gonna put these in. They have sort of like a spot that they can just slide in, and then you can put your bolt through. I'm gonna carry it over there, and then I'll slide these all into place and thread them by hand at first.
Well, you wanna see the dead bird?
I saw the dead bird. You're not playing with the dead birds, are you? That'd be weird.
I know. I do know about the dead bird.
All right.
Is this how I turn it on?
Yeah, that's right, dude. Right, our winch is mounted to our bumper. Now's the tricky part, is trying to get it on here by myself, but I've done it enough times now. I know I could do it, it's just frustrating. Come on! Yeah! Woo! You see that, guys? Yeah. Nailed it. Dude, you guys gave the chickens a chicken nugget? Dude, that's messed up. Charlie, don't eat that. Eee, I don't know what. Cannibal chickens. Everything's installed and wired. I'm gonna fish this end with the tab of our synthetic rope line in through the fair lead. Don't mess that up. Gotta go through the fair lead. And I'm sure we could have done this by hand before we installed it, but I just thought this was gonna be the best way to do it. How well you load and pretension your winch will determine its effectiveness and safety. So you really wanna make sure you take the time to do this right. Right now, I'm just feeding this thing back and forth so it doesn't get bunched up in there. It doesn't need to be perfect. We're gonna redo this, and it never really ends up being perfect after you use it. Okay, for this next step, we're gonna be pre-tensioning the winch line. So a lot of people would just sort of install their winch. They do exactly what I did. They zip it all into the around the post, and they would call it good. And they go out wheeling. Well, then the first time their truck was really stuck, there goes a car. Well, then the first time they're stuck, Then the first time their truck is really stuck, they'll go up, they'll hook up to a tree, they'll do everything right, they'll throw their little safety jacket over the line and whatnot, and they'll start winching and their winch cable will snap. And the reason it'll do that is because you've left that spool real loose around there, and as soon as you tension it, the cord or the cable wedges itself down into the spool of stuff because it's all loose, it's not packed on tight, and it gets pinched and then snaps. I know it's definitely an issue with the steel cables. When you do synthetic, I'm not sure how big of an issue it is, but you still want to make sure you do it right so that you don't get this pinching or this cable getting stuck. So what you need to find is a nice gradual hill. We don't want to make it, there's no need to make it hard on the winch or anything. You just need a nice gradual hill and something to tie off to. And so what I'm going to use is probably this hill here. It's nice and long, it's pretty gradual, there's nothing that's gonna get me hung up. And I'll tie off to maybe that pine tree there, or even this telephone pole. But I gotta be careful. Check this out, I just saw this. Is that a basketball? No. Dude, look at the size of that beehive. It's humongous. Shall I kick it? See what comes out? It's freaking huge. There's a bee right there. Oh, there's a couple. Oh yeah, it's still active for sure. I wonder why it's on the ground. Jeez. Well, okay. All right. What kind of bees are those? Scary. Super cool looking though. I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm just gonna go grab my tree strap. I'm gonna hook up to this little tree and show you how we're gonna pre-tension this line. So I'm gonna get in here, I'm gonna use a tree strap. You should always use a tree strap just to protect the tree, but also yourself. It's a lot safer with a tree strap. And you should never just wrap your cable around something and hook it to itself. Ugh. So the tree strap goes around. I'm gonna take the big hook, I'm gonna face the hook up. Make sure she's locked in. Good. All right, I got some slack. So you guys can kind of see where I'm going here. You want a slight hill so you can put the truck in neutral and just pull its weight up. That should be enough weight to pre-tension your line so that those cords or the cable or the synthetic rope is nice and tightly packed on there and laid flat. So since I ran the cable all the way out, I'm gonna make sure that there's about 10 wraps around this post. It's really hard to say. Since it's a synthetic winch line, you want 10 wraps. Steel cables can do 6. winch looks, it's working great, man. I love it. All right, so now I'm gonna put the truck in park. We've got it pretty much close enough. That is what we want, that mid section to be really tension tight so that we don't have any issues. Now I can back the truck off a little bit and bring in the rest of the line. Because for the most part, you're always gonna pull out about 20 feet. I'm not too worried about that first 20-foot section being tensioned super tight. Dude, I really like this winch. I think this was a really good purchase. I love the wireless controller. That's awesome. And I really did buy this myself. I do get items sponsored a lot now that I'm doing YouTube almost full time, but I'll always tell you guys if it's sponsored or if I bought it. I bought this myself. I just think it's a good product for the price. It also doesn't seem to be drawing as much power. Last winch kept killing the truck. All right, everybody, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. Hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more of the Toyota Tacoma and these off-road videos or instructional videos, let me know in the comment section below or by hitting that thumbs up button. I pay attention to all that stuff. I read all your guys' comments, the good and the bad. And I really do appreciate you guys being my audience. It's so cool to be able to do what I love, which is work on these toys and have all these various hobbies, but more importantly to make videos, and I just love having a platform to be able to do that. If you guys like these more laid-back, simple videos, just let me know and I'll keep cranking them out. So get some work done this week, but don't forget to live. It's actually really nice having the Tacoma back in the channel. I miss this little truck. Whew, so much fun. I'm afraid I'm gonna crash. It went under the car a little bit. I think it's